Good morning, students. See, in the last period, we have seen that the different chemicals from common salt, that is NaCl. Okay, the baking soda was the last. Okay, we have seen the different things how to make the baking soda. Okay, by using NaCl, H2O, CO2, and NH3. Okay, the aqueous solution brine, that is salt, that is called brine. When we pass carbon dioxide and ammonia gas through this aqueous solution, we get ammonium chloride as a byproduct, and this baking soda, that is NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate, it's a chemical name, is obtained from this common salt. Okay, that is NaCl. And then we have seen the properties that it is soluble, it is weakly alkaline. Okay, and then it is on heating decomposes to form a sodium carbonate. Okay, then these are the reactions that we have seen yesterday. Okay, and also we have seen baking powder uses a you know uh, baking soda is used to make the baking powder, also used in soda acid fire extinguisher as antacid and antiseptic. Okay, so this is the last point that we have seen yesterday. Now let us go to the next chemical that we have. Yesterday I told you to find out the meaning of why it is called plaster of Paris. Okay, so this mineral was used in the Paris, okay, for the construction of buildings in the old days. Okay, so it's a chemical, and the name of the plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Okay, but actually its name is derived from because its name is given as such because it was used in the Paris for the mainly construction purpose. Okay, and then it is in the Paris. Okay, in the Paris city it was mainly used for the construction, so its name is given plaster of Paris. Its formula is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Calcium sulfate, this is Ca, calcium sulfate. Okay, so Ca2 plus and this is 2 minus, so calcium sulfate, it's a common compound, but it's having half H2O in it. Half H2O means like one molecule of calcium sulfate having half H2O, but actually in practical it doesn't happen. So what we can say, 2 CaSO4 can occupy one H2O molecule, means one can occupy only half, but when two calcium sulfate molecules are taken, one water molecule can be occupied. Means we can write like this. See, 2 at 2 CaSO4 calcium sulfate dot H2O. So this is the actual, that's how this calcium sulfate hemihydrate or POP can exist. Okay, so when we bring at home, this is the form in which it is exist. Okay, so in which we add the water then. Okay, on adding water, see its chemical name is calcium sulfate hemi means half, hydrate means water molecule, and it is obtained by heating the gypsum up to 373 Kelvin. 373 means what? Okay, now it is given in the Kelvin. So if it is given in Kelvin, see, if it is given in Kelvin, then see uh, how to convert Kelvin to Celsius. Okay, so if temperature is given here, so 100 yeah, so we have got 373 Kelvin, so minus 273. Okay, 373 to minus 273, so you will get 100 degree Celsius. Okay, so you want to convert from Kelvin to degree Celsius, you have to subtract from 273, and if you want to convert degree Celsius to Kelvin, we have to add 273 in that. Okay, so as it is given in Kelvin, so we have to subtract 273 from this, so you will get the 100 degree Celsius. It means that gypsum जो है calcium sulfate को we have to heat. Okay, calcium sulfate we have to heat, and then on heating calcium sulfate up to only 100 degrees Celsius, we should not heat above 100 degrees Celsius or below 100 degrees Celsius. Means the temperature shouldn't rise above 373 Kelvin. In Kelvin unit, it should not rise above 373 Kelvin, and at that temperature it loses its 75% water. It loses its 75% water, and then you will get the your POP. Okay, see, the reaction of this is, see, we have a calcium sulfate. Formula of calcium sulfate or gypsum is 2H2O. This is the formula, okay? Calcium sulfate 2H2O. So this is called gypsum. This is your nothing. This is your gypsum, okay? So on heating up to 373 Kelvin, to how much? We have to heat up to 373 Kelvin. On heating to 73, it loses 75% water. How much water it loses? 75. Remember this reaction very very carefully. It is asked for 3 or 2 marks in the board exam, okay? So when this gypsum, naturally obtained gypsum, when heated at 273 Kelvin, 373 Kelvin, that is 100 degree Celsius, it loses ये माइनस इसलिए दिखाया मैंने कि it is losing that water, okay? ये जो माइनस है इसका मतलब 75% वाटर निकल गया. अब 75% कितने में से? इतने में से 75% निकल गया. अब 2 मॉलिक्यूल में से 75% वाटर निकल गया, तो हाउ मच इज लेफ्ट? ओनली 25 इज लेफ्ट, 25% इज लेफ्ट. तो दैट इज कैल्शियम सल्फेट डॉट हाफ H2O plus 1.5 H2O molecules are left. I mean it is removed. That is, this is the 75% water. This is 75% water, okay? This is your 75% water, and ये जो है half H2O, this is your 25% water. So this is how when calcium sulfate remains along with half H2O molecule in one calcium sulfate molecule, that time it shows the best property of setting hard when comes in contact of water. As you know how this plaster of Paris is used, okay? Now see, this is the reaction shown here, okay? See, calcium sulfate and 2H2O, this is your gypsum. ये क्या है आपका? Gypsum, okay? Gypsum. And then gypsum is heated at 273 Kelvin, okay? And then see, it is left with calcium sulfate half H2O, and then 1.5, this is 1.5 H2O, okay? ये जो है 1.5 H2O है, 1.5 H2O molecule is left with it. मतलब this is 25%, okay? And this is 75% water is left, okay? Left means evaporated, and on losing 75% water, the gypsum becomes POP. So this is your nothing but POP, calcium sulfate half H2O, that is calcium sulfate hemihydrate, that is nothing but POP, plaster of Paris. If you heat only 100 degrees Celsius, then only this POP will show its best property. Remember once again, if you heat it above 373 Kelvin, then it becomes useless, that becomes dead POP, okay? Dead POP or useless POP. It doesn't sets when comes in contact of water on heating more than 373. So it's a very keenly done process. It is very controlled or very properly done process, that it should only lose 75% water, and to remove 75% water we have to heat only up to exactly 100 degree Celsius. You got it? So this is the reaction of making plaster of Paris from the gypsum, okay? See, gypsum is, this is gypsum, and this is your plaster of Paris, and ye gypsum, okay? So this is the reaction. On treatment with water, it is again covered into gypsum and sets as hard mass. Now see how that reaction takes place. Now see, we have while preparing POP, we have removed 75% water. That time, see, gypsum is originally hard substance, okay? It's very hard substance. So when we heat it, it becomes POP. Now when POP is again added with the water, see, when doctors apply plaster of Paris on your fractured bones, they put that powder in a water. So when they put that powder in the water, water is absorbed back. So what that reaction takes place? How that reaction takes place? I'll write here. See, this is your calcium sulfate dot half H2O, okay, plus H2O. This is your POP, and this is the reaction that takes place when doctor uses it, or that statue maker uses the POP to make the statues. So what happened here? again this H2 is added here. So what happens, it regains that 75% water which have lost by the POP during the preparation of POP. See, when POP was prepared, that time 75% water was removed. Now again that 75% water which was removed by the POP, now gypsum, now we will add that into again gypsum. So what will form again, CaSO4 dot 2H2O. so this gypsum again formed back. Okay, gypsum again formed back. Can you see CaSO4 2H2O? You can see CaSO4 twice H2O or 2H2O molecule, that is gypsum. Okay, so you got the gypsum bag which is hard, and then once it is settled, then it does not break easily. Okay, it's very hard to break. Okay, so this is how we can make use of gypsum. Now see, let me write these two reaction again. See how they ask the question. Question is asked like this. See, how will you prepare the plaster of Paris from the gypsum, and how the gypsum or how the plaster of Paris sets hard when comes in contact of water. So these are the two questions. So for these two questions we have to write these two reactions. Okay, now you can see that the backward reaction, how it takes place again. So backward reaction, calcium sulfate, this is your POP. Okay, this is the POP when added with again 1.5 H2O molecule. So what had formed, again we have got the gypsum. Okay, so this is the reaction that takes place when it is added to water and when it sets hard on your fractured bone, or when it is made with the statues. Okay, so see, plaster of Paris again convert, this is your plaster of Paris and this is your gypsum got back again. So gypsum से plaster of Paris बनाया हमने starting में, और वापस plaster of Paris का क्या बन गया, gypsum बन गया again this in after setting. Now we'll see the uses. Okay, it is used by the doctors for setting fractured bones, as everybody knows. Okay, and then second use is it is used to make for making statues, models and other decorative materials. Inside your house, whatever decorative materials, statues may be there. Okay, the pots, okay, the decorative pots, okay, and then many things, okay, which are there in the house, they can be made by using the plaster of Paris. Okay, then next use is see, let me before going towards this pH and all, okay, let me explain you this properly. Okay, see how the reaction takes place. The first reaction, how to prepare POP from gypsum. POP from gypsum, what do we do, calcium sulfate dot 2H2O. what is this, this is our gypsum. Okay, gypsum, then it is heated up to 373 Kelvin. So when it is heated up to 373 Kelvin, it loses, मतलब माइनस निकल जाता है, removed 75% वाटर निकल जाता है इसमें से, एंड देन दो मॉलिक्यूल से 75% निकल गया, तो हाउ मच इज लेफ्ट, ओनली हाफ मॉलिक्यूल इज लेफ्ट. सो बनने वाला कंपाउंड क्या रहेगा, CaSO4 डॉट half H2O. So this is the method of preparation of POP. This is called POP. CaSO4 dot half H2O, plaster of Paris बन गया. अभी ये बनने के बाद we have to again, now this is the preparation method. So in this form it is available in the market. So when we bring it from market, it is in the powdered form, and then when we use it for our purpose, what we have to, can we use that powder directly? No. So we have to add the water in it. So on adding water, what happens, this is very hard, this gypsum is very hard. Now on adding water, what happens, let us see once again. So what we formed was POP, that is calcium sulfate dot half H2O, correct. So this is the plaster of Paris, that's what we have formed. Now when we add water in it, so we have to add water. So how much water it absorbs again, how much water is absorbs again, it absorbs again this one, let me see here, it absorbs 1.5 molecule of water. So again 75% water which was lost by the plaster of Paris when it is added again, so what forms again? So it forms again CaSO4 dot this half plus 1.5 कितना हो गया? This half, see this half and this 1.5. So half plus 1.5 becomes 2H2O. So this again becomes gypsum. Okay, so from POP again it has formed gypsum, and this gypsum sets hard on the fractured bone, or when we make the statues it becomes hard because of acquiring that 75% water back to form gypsum again. So natural property of gypsum is hard. Okay, so that is calcium sulfate dihydrate. Gypsum is calcium sulfate di means 2, hydrate means water molecule, and calcium sulfate hemihydrate means plaster of Paris. Okay, so this is how the preparation can be done. Okay, so let us see that plaster of Paris, this is everything about the plaster of Paris. Question can be asked for 32 sorry 3 to 4 marks, or 5 marks also question can be asked, like this entire, okay, everything which is present in on the slide here now can be asked for 5 marks. This much we have to write, but 5 marks you'll get. Okay, this much, it doesn't mean that you can easily write this reaction. You have to practice it 3-4 times, then only you'll remember these formulas and then what actually happens in this reaction. Okay, so let us go to the next point, that is, see, till now we have seen that common salts से हम कौन से chemicals बना सकते हैं. Okay, and then we have seen 3 to 4 chemicals. First NaOH, okay, first NaOH, then second baking soda NaHCO3, third was bleaching powder CaOCl2, that is calcium oxychloride, which is used in the bleaching of clothes and all. And the next chemical, fifth chemical, is plaster of Paris. Okay, see how many? NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. Second was baking soda, that is NaHCO3. Third was washing soda. Okay, washing soda matlab Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate. Fourth is bleaching powder CaOCl2, that is calcium oxychloride, or its industrial name is bleaching powder. And the fifth is plaster of Paris. Okay, plaster of Paris is also can be obtained from common salt only. Okay, common salt only. So this is how this this is the chemicals from the common salt. That's all. Okay, now let us go to the next point, that is measuring pH. Okay, measuring pH. Now pH measurement करने के लिए हम क्या क्या चीज़ें हमको चाहिए, और what is pH. Okay, first of all, now that we know how to calculate pH of solution, how do we measure it in the lab? Now see, when we'll do practical okay, this about this pH measurement. Okay, so that time we will understand that how to identify the pH. Okay, in the laboratory actually when we'll do that, so I'll show you this pH paper and how to identify the pH of different solutions by using the pH paper. Now there are several ways to test the pH. Okay, so pH can be tested by different ways. Okay, so first way is by indicators. By indicator means, now what are indicators? So there are two types of indicators, paper indicators or chemicals, which is in the form of solution. So blue litmus paper, okay, when added to acid it becomes red. So this blue and red litmus papers are available in the market. So when we use these papers, we can we can identify the solution whether it is acidic or basic. Now first of all, indicators means what we must know. Indicators are nothing but the chemicals or the substances which are used to find out the nature of the compound. Nature means whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. Now see, blue litmus paper is one of the very commonly used indicators, blue and red litmus paper. So blue is used for acids. Blue is used for acids. Now see, for these abbreviations you can use ABR. Okay, ABR. For this, blue litmus paper turns to red. ABR, acid turns. Now what's the meaning of this? Acid turns blue litmus paper red. When blue litmus paper is dipped in the acid, it turns red. So whenever you dip a blue litmus paper in any solution, that may be water or milk or anything, If it turns red, it you should understand that it has become acidic. Water can also become acidic by addition of overuse of some, or because of the acid rain the water can be acidic, or because of overuse of different fertilizers water can become acidic. So that acidic nature can be identified by using the blue litmus paper. Or even curd also, if you take curd, if also changes the blue litmus paper red, sorry, if milk changes the blue litmus paper red, it means that it has turned sour, matlab curdling of milk has started, you can identify that. Okay, then second thing is pH, sorry, red litmus paper. Now red litmus paper we have to use for bases only. Red litmus paper you have to use for basis, and then for that abbreviations are there. BRB. Okay, so BRB means BRB, basis turns red litmus paper blue. Okay, base turn red litmus paper blue. So BRB is the abbreviation for this. For any base if you take, or if you make a soap solution, if you take a red litmus paper and dip in the soap solution, you will find that it has become blue. Okay, so this is how the indicators, or very commonly used indicators, are used, blue and red litmus paper. Okay, now there is one more paper available in the laboratories, that is pH paper. Okay, and pH paper is available in the multicolor. Multicolor means there are different color ranges or color blocks are marked on the pH paper, and these colors, when pH paper is dipped in the solution, you have to match the color changed with the pH paper. Okay, there are 1 to 14 numbers are there, on each, above each number different color is there. So when we dip the pH paper in solution, whatever color we get, you have to match with the color present on the pH paper. And once the color matches, suppose it is red, dark red, okay, then it is, if pH paper becomes ekdam dark red, and then it is highly acidic. Okay, then it becomes dark blue, then it is 14 pH, that is highly basic. Okay, so this is how pH paper also, we'll see that in the practical also once. Okay, so this is pH paper. Then one solution is also there, that is universal indicator. Universal indicator is also another chemical which is used to find out the nature of the compounds. That is also changes in many different color when added to different type of acids. Okay, then indicators like phenolphthalein, methyl orange, okay, methyl red, natural indicators like red cabbage, radishes, turmeric, litmus, logwood, alizarin, okay, china rose. These are the different types of natural indicators also, but very commonly used indicators are litmus papers, blue and red, universal indicator, pH paper, and phenolphthalein. Okay, methyl orange, methyl red also used, but very rarely. Okay, so next is second way of knowing the pH is pH meter. Okay, now pH meter is, as I told you, the pH paper is there, okay, on which different color box are marked. Okay, so similarly pH meter is having different ranges on it, okay, marked by using the number. If pH is shown exactly 7, then it is neutral. Okay, if pH the color becomes, or if any solution shows the color green, okay, green color if shown by the the solution, and it is exactly 7 pH, and 7 means green color. On above 7 number, the green color is marked, and then if green color appears, it means the neutral, means neither acidic nor basic. Now if it is greater than 7, okay, greater than 7, sorry, less than 7, if the pH ranges from 1 to 6.9, okay, so it is acidic. Suppose 1 is the pH, 2 is the pH, 3 is the pH, or 6 is the pH, then it is acidic. And then above 7, that is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, this is the basic pH. Okay, so that range is showing the base, okay, the basic pH. So choosing the correct indicator, our next point is choosing the correct indicator. How to choose the correct indicator? So not all indicators shift colors at pH 7. Now it is not every indicator will show the pH above pH 7. So many change colors over a wide range of pH values. Okay, so when testing a sample for acidity or basicity, it is best to choose an indicator that has a color close to pH 7. Okay, so or we use the pH paper, or we can another way you can measure, use that get a digital reading. Okay, nowadays paper is also available in the digital form. Okay, so that also can be used, so exact pH we can identify. Okay, so some indicators only works in the specific range of pH. Choosing the right one is important. Okay, so some of the indicators like turmeric, china rose, they work in a specific range only, so we cannot use these pH indicators for everything. So there are some indicators which can change the different colors in different pH, so that we have to use. Once the drops are added, the sample is ruined. What does it mean? Now see, we have a 10 liter of one solution. We have 10 liter of one solution. एक कंटेनर है और उस कंटेनर में 10 लीटर सॉल्यूशन है. 10 लीटर क्या है, solution, and we want to identify whether it is acidic or basic. So we should not take a indicator and put a drop of indicator in that 10 liter of solution. No, so entire that 10 liter solution will become impure, useless. Okay, so what we have to do, if you want to test this, take 1 ml from this and add indicators in that 1 ml. So instead of wasting 10 liter directly adding in 10 liter, take out 1 ml or half ml solution. So we have to add this indicator in a small sample of solution, so that entire chemical will not be wasted. Okay, so once the drops are added, this entire sample is ruined. So to prevent the loss of chemicals, we have to add the indicator in a very small sample of solution. So that precaution we have to take here. Okay, so indicators. Okay, what are indicators, why do we need indicators? Okay, and then different indicators, about different indicators we are going to study in the coming lecture. Okay, that's all for today.